everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Couch GMs podcast. It's Thursday, March 20th, 2025. I'm your host, George Kurt, joined by the one and only Cody Roadcap. How you doing today, Cody?
I'm doing great. I know we're predominantly a football podcast, but we are in some of the best day span of any sport. March Madness kicked off. We already had an upset, 4 days of upsets, both men's and women's. It's a great time for just in general sports fans. So if you're here looking for football content because you missed it, that's great. If you want to talk basketball, we can talk that too.
Maybe next episode we'll have to tee it up for a what is the best sports month on the calendar debate.
Best sport, that'd be because you have March Madness. Obviously, February's in there with the Super Bowl. Honestly, I think it would have to be in the fall, though. Maybe like September. I'd probably say September, October.
October football, you have baseball playoffs, the NBA and NHL start off.
Yeah, like because you have all four playing. That would probably be my of the major four sports.
I think that's a good answer. So we'll settle on agreeing on this one for once.
So real quick, now we're gonna go off on this tangent. I don't care.
All right, cool.
Would it change every 4 years? Like, would a winter month or a summer month get it when the Olympics are in, or like the World Cup time, like when those games are going on? Would in that year it be like a summer, or would you still be sticking with the fall?
I'm an Olympics person, so I feel like it would definitely give me a little bit of a I would probably think so, but a lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you could also like do like a month as 30 days, not like January 1st to January 31st, and kind of like get Winter Olympics, but get the tag end of that guy with the Super Bowl, like that'd be that ideal. But that's also
so you're gonna do a playoff-uary kind of deal.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
give me the 4 weeks from Wild Card Weekend to the Super Bowl. That's the Couch GM's favorite time of the year.
I like it. Let's do that. Make sure you're following us at the Couch GMs on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok to get even more news from the show. And since we're on this about social media, I think we should announce what we're doing to get involved in the March Madness. We posted our 32-player best fantasy player ever bracket. We're going to start voting tonight after the show. So make sure if you are listening in, follow us, jump on there, vote on the first round. We'll be posting it in sections, obviously. And then we'll have a little bit of a debate as we go on throughout. And if we think the winner is the same as the fans agreed on when we get the voting done.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. A lot of names didn't make the list. So if there's someone on your list, you're like, definitely think this guy is a top guy. Like, should have Josh Allen, kind of recency bias. Should he was, one of the guys that just missed. Arian Foster, special place in my heart for all his dominance, but was he one of the elite of the elite? Those kind of guys are right on the brink. And if you have any guys that didn't make the 32, make sure you're dropping a comment or shooting us a DM.
Yep. Just a reminder, we have that posted on all of our social medias. Make sure you click the link down below the video to get to our link tree to find those. Or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, go over to our feeds and you can find it there. You can always DM us with any comments or questions. If you do not catch us live on Thursdays, I almost said Mondays and Thursdays. That's during the season. Thursdays at 6:30 East. I was a lot for an intro. Got a little bit of a tangent. Did some debate. That was good. But Cody, what's happening? A lot happening still, not close to as much as we have been the last 2 weeks, for being honest, but some free agency news, some contracts. Cooper Kupp, the issue is resolved. He has been moved to the Seattle Seahawks, staying in the division in the NFC West like we see way too often. This was an interesting move to me. I mean, Kupp being on the Rams his entire career, you don't normally see those guys that would be, considered loyal go to the same division. But I feel like the West is kind of that division that's the outlier in that case.
Yeah, I think you could kind of say that. It's really interesting to me though that he went. I know he's from Washington. He went to school at Eastern Washington. He gets to go back home. I'm sure that played a big factor in it. I mean, also got 3 years, $45 million. That played a big factor into it too. But after Tyler Lockett being released / potentially retire. He didn't officially retire, right? I know there were some rumors that he might retire, but I don't think he officially did.
Don't think he did. I think he's still just a free agent.
Yeah. I know there was some rumblings. It might have just been on Twitter that he might retire. We'll see if he gets picked up anywhere. They traded DK Metcalf, and then they go and get Cooper Kupp, which traditionally is a guy that has dominated in the slot, which is where JSN dominates and has played all this well. So maybe Kupp will get to play outside. Maybe they'll try some interesting things, but it just didn't seem like the complementary piece for me. But honestly, after the last rash of injuries for Cooper Kupp, like I didn't have high expectations for him wherever he went in terms of fantasy and stuff like that. And just because on paper it looks like there's not a lot around there that he could be a big guy, I'm not putting a lot of stock into Cooper Kupp for this upcoming season.
No, I still think it's JSN's offense to run, and I think Cooper Kupp is not the greatest complementary piece, but there's no doubt they can find a way to make him useful. But like similar to how we said with DeAndre Hopkins going to Baltimore, if you're expecting Cooper Kupp to go to Seattle and be that dominant guy that he was in the prime of his career, you're probably not going to get that. I'm not saying he's going to be irrelevant, but he's not going to dominate.
No, for sure. And George,
I love when news breaks on the show.
Yeah, so this isn't that big of a news, but we have the bumper, so I wanted to hit it. And we're talking about a California guy and Cooper Kupp, and we have to get our 30 seconds of college football in. We're going to talk more about when the draft season really hits up in April. But former NFL head coach Ron Rivera has been named the head coach at Cal University. So he's going to be go coach for the Golden Bears. So since it was an former NFL coach going to the college ranks, we're already talking about California. We had the bumper sitting right there. Had to hit it for you, but we don't have to spend too much time on it.
I like it. No, just throw all the knowledge out to the people. We can move on to what's going to be one of the best and one of the worst in the NFL. One of the best, the Bengals offense, and one of the worst, the Bengals defense, because they locked a lot of money up to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, both signing massive contracts. And at least Joe Burrow got his wish, and the band is back together.
Yeah, so he didn't quite get his wish yet. There's still one piece to figure out. That's on the defensive side, and Trey Hendrickson. He did want Trey back, and it does sound like they're working towards a resolution there. So I would expect him to be back too, and that would at least help the defense. But we saw last year they struggled mightily. Maybe they can improve through the draft and get better with their new defensive coordinator, a new voice. But I know a lot of people are out there worried about the money. Hey, they're two young players, they're good players, and the salary cap is going up at an obnoxious level. It's gone up over 50 million in the last 2 years alone. It's projected to go up 25 plus million in the next 2 years. So like now is the time to do something like that, till we get the leveling off of, slight increases. If we go up another 50 million in 2 years, like these contracts, I mean, Tutu Atwell got $10 million. T. Higgins at 25, like who cares? That's kind of where I've been at. And I think at least in terms of fantasy, that's two viable receiving options. Obviously, Higgins has a little bit of an injury history. Joe Burrow, as long as he can stay upright, which is another thing that they're going to have to address.
Oh, no, I think it's great for the Bengals because, that offense is good enough that it's like we have to find a way to be able to win with this core. And it's a young core. That's both of their first contract. They're both in their prime. But the thing that concerns me is these guys have a history of not spending the money and not knowing how to work the money. So it's like you can be a contender all you want, but there's some things that you're going to have to do with a quarterback on a massive deal to be able to put together a team that can legitimately make a run for a Super Bowl. Last time they made their run, Burrow still didn't have his contract. They had that extra cap flexibility. Now, if you're going to be paying Burrow and 2-star wide receivers, I don't have the faith that front office can put enough around them to really make a complete enough team to make that run.
Yeah, we'll have to see. My only counter argument to it, and it's not that great, is we're still only a few years removed from them making a run with a similar team. Like Jesse Bates is probably like the big name that's still not on the team at safety, but there's decent safeties out there. So with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, I don't think, their games aren't going to be easy. They're going to lose some games they should win. They're going to win some games they probably shouldn't. But they're a team that can go on a streak. And I think, it's not the most sound way to win. Obviously, they didn't make the playoffs this past year. But if they go on a streak in the playoffs, they're not afraid to go into Kansas City. They're not afraid of Baltimore. They're not afraid of Buffalo. Like, they'll go T to T with anybody. So they just have to hit on the draft, and that's a lot easier said than done because some of their picks have not panned out as of late, but they'll keep trying.
And we'll see how much they can turn it around now that they have the year to, retool, and they actually have a not disgruntled wide receiver one in the house now. Want to talk some rule changes?
Oh, let's talk some rule changes. Not official changes, proposals.
Proposals, my bad. Rule change proposals that are coming out of the league meetings. 5 of them came up. The first one, not super exciting. Teams trying to get preseason IR players excluded from the 90-man roster so they can bring more players into camp. Obviously brings more competition, gives more people a shot, but not anything super exciting. The other
the
4,
one that most likely will pass.
That is the one that most likely will pass.
The only one I feel confident will pass.
The other 4, there's some interesting debate I think that you and I can have. We'll talk a little bit into them. First off, the official proposal to ban the tush push, as we expected. And I know you had a really good argument about this when we were talking about it earlier, so I'll let you start.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, like I've seen the memes, I've seen the mentions. If you want to drop your thoughts on these rule books, hit them up in the comments or react with those. That's great. I honestly don't care either way when it comes to banning the tush push. It's a play that the Eagles are very good at. I think it's funny that the Packers are the team that proposed it when there seems like there's been some things behind the scenes for that proposal. And I also feel like the Packers have stopped it the most. I don't have the statistics, but I know they've stopped it at least 3 or 4 times, like once a game that they played, and that's a lot more than most teams. Honestly, though, my thing is banning plays in general. Like I think we start sliding down a slippery slope if we do that. However, the playoff game against the Commanders was my breaking point where I was like, okay, I can see why this needs changed. And I'm going to throw out a different solution than otherwise banning it after I'm done. But just the fake snap causing the offsides to the ref saying if they do this again, we're going to award a touchdown. That can't happen. Like, it's already a play that requires so much timing in general. So my solution is let's keep the tush push if there's, if the data supports that people aren't getting injured, but let's do something about the alignment that the center can be the only one. Let's move the guards back a little bit. The guard's helmet can't be fully past the shoulder blades. Be a more traditional pass or set. Only on the tush push are the guards lined up right next to the center, and then the tackles are. It's like a 5-man front.
Which is why they call offsides on it so many times.
Exactly. So why don't we make more of a standardized? And this can be for all plays, and this can tie into Jawan Taylor jumping off sides too. Like, this isn't just a tush push solution. Let's have a unified. This is what the 5 offensive linemen have to line up as, and then we'll just go from there. I think I think that's a lot better than saying let's ban this play.
I agree, because I think when you're getting to the rabbit hole of banning the pushing of a player with the ball, then you're getting to those plays where it's like man on man and you have the scrum and the running back gets pushed 10 yards. Does that become illegal? Where does it become the different from like the quarterback sneaking, or does the quarterback get far enough ahead of the line of scrimmage that he's allowed to be pushed? Like, there's so much gray area that's going to happen. I was going to propose some kind of a alignment change as well. Wasn't thinking about the offensive lineman. I like what you said there. I was thinking more of like, they already did adjust it a little bit where the guy lined up behind the quarterback has to line up a yard off the line of scrimmage. Maybe he has to line up off guard. He can't line up behind the guard. He has to line up behind the tackle. Maybe there's something like that. I don't think there's a way that you can legitimately ban the pushing without it becoming a thing where people are going to complain about other areas of the game then. But I think the funniest thing about it, you're saying how the Packers were the team that proposed it, and they seem to be the team that stopped it the most. And then the next team that was the most vocal about it was the Bills, who are the team that ran it the second most in the league. So it's like, all these proposals just seem to be coming out of left field. And I hope that if they do change something, they don't ban the pushing, they change something else to make it either harder to push or easier to enforce.
Yeah, and maybe your alignment thing too is they're farther back, because if you read the quote unquote proposed rule, it is, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have it pulled up, but it is like cannot push the player immediately after immediately receiving the snap or something along those lines. It's all about the timing of when the push occurs. So maybe the guy does have to back up. Maybe he can't get pushed to Mississippi. They're not actually going to do to Mississippi, but you know what? Maybe
No,
there's a
exactly.
timing aspect of it too. I do think it's interesting that like people like this rule, like the tush push is illegal because of a rule change in 2005. Like prior to 2005, they changed some language and it would have been technically illegal. But like no one talks about that. And again, it's not that I think people want it gone. It's they just want it to be, easier to, are the players offsides? This could go into getting tracking in the ball and alignment and seeing where helmets are. Like we could get real into like the tennis, like how great tennis analytics and following golf balls, and like we can't do that on a football field. Like if we could get that in the NFL and they could see, oh, this guy is offsides and might have a change there. But yeah, for me, it's literally just the alignment, and I can't have another game where you just fake snap it 4 plays in a row and they're like, oh, you get the touchdown, because everybody has to go at the snap. It's all about leverage.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was even a time for me, as much as fun as I had watching that as an Eagles fan. It was like that was a little bit much.
I think I even texted
I did
the group
enjoy
chat.
the Frankie Luvu memes.
No, I agree. And I think I even texted the group chat in that moment. I was like, that's probably what kills the tush push.
Yep. And
But,
I
hey,
agree with you 100%. If it does change, I think that's the turning point. But you're talking about Hawkeye too. This isn't on the rule changes, but I did hear that the NFL is going to be using electronic measurements for first downs starting next season. That could be the start of being able to detect offsides and stuff like that. So we'll see how that changes as that progresses.
no, for sure. And then the last thing I was going to say too is with all these proposals, obviously the owners will vote on these, and the competition committee might announce some more proposals at some point, but it takes a minimum of 24 owners to say yes or no, or yes to get a rule change happen. So it can't just be 2 teams that don't like the tush push. Like it has to be majority or 75% of the league to say yes. So I honestly don't think the tush push is going anywhere. I don't think they have enough momentum for it. And until more injuries happen, unfortunately, that's when I think that'll finally go to the wayside.
And I think when they look back, there was not a single injury that was directly connected to the tush push that they could find. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that was actually if they actually confirmed that or not. Eagles did fire back with another rule change proposal, and they proposed that we have overtime rules that in the playoffs also occurring in the regular season. So we'd be moving overtime back to 15 minutes, and both teams have to get possession of the ball. And as somebody who has been arguing so much about the overtime rules, this is probably the best solution that I've found that I think has the best chance of getting passed, since they actually have it in a different part of the game, being in, the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think this is the second highest likelihood I think it'll get passed. I'm still concerned that they're going to look at it and be like, well, do we want people playing on Monday night and Thursday night playing full 15-minute quarters, right? If both teams are going to possess the ball. I think that is going to be the little bit of the hang up. I know that's why my idea of just play an 8-minute quarter has never, because they want to try to end the games quicker, especially if they have short turnarounds or are playing on short weeks. Like that is definitely a part of it. But I think this one can and may, get passed. And I think it's also interesting too. It hasn't been an official league proposal, but I know one of the things that the competition committee was looking into was making a tweak to the kickoff rule, that if it to try to encourage more kick returns, because they've made the play safer, they were going to move it out to the 35, touchback out to the 35 from the 30. So they're going to get even closer. And if you get into that range, it's like, well, if you're going to give a touchback at the 35 and you're 10 yard or 15 yards from essentially field goal range, like maybe we do need to give both teams the sides. Again, the second part of that is not a new league proposal, just something that is being discussed and could, come down closer to the season or once we get into actual winter meetings. But as of right now, it's not. But yeah, overtime, I still think it'd be better just to play an 8-minute period. It doesn't sound like we're ever going to get there. So give both teams the ball. Sure. Why not? Just win the game in regulation and you're all good.
Heck, I would take giving both teams the ball, but keeping it the 10-minute period for the regular season. I think that's still an improvement.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. You know,
Do you play Fortnite?
yeah, that's my cousin. They've been blowing my phone up asking me to get on Fortnite, like they don't know Thursday night is for the Couch Jams podcast. So
I'm gonna make that shirt now.
what, Thursday nights for the Couch Jams podcast?
Yeah.
Or do you play Fortnite?
No.
Or both?
Sure, both.
Thursday nights is for the Couch Jams podcast. I like it.
Nice. Two more rule change proposals that came out. One was defensive holding or illegal contact not resulting in an automatic first down. I don't know if that one's going to pass just because
it can't. I thought about, so like there's a part of me that thinks this would be good, but then this would just be play into the hold on every, like unless it's 3rd and 4, hold every time.
If it's 3rd and 26 and you just hold 3 times and then wait for the quarterback to make a mistake, then it's like, well, congratulations.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this leads to more flags.
Yeah.
Then and all. So
you would have to make the penalty. I think you would have to at least make the penalty 10 yards if you're not going to make an automatic first down.
Then, maybe they would do some adjusting like that, make all holding penalties 10 yards or something along those lines. But
I could see that being better than 5 yards, but that's it. Because 5 yards is not a significant penalty in yardage, but the first down is what makes it important.
Right, and like I said, I think it'll just slow down the game more because you'll see more penalties called and whatever. Also, ironically, the Detroit Lions proposed this, and they lead the league in holding penalties or legal contact resulting in first down over the last 2 years. So
that is actually hilarious.
I think they've been called for it 26 times over the last 2 years, or somewhere. That's the ballpark of the number.
That's actually hilarious. I love that. That's them just throwing something at the wall and hoping it sticks. Maybe this will help us next year.
Hey, they need the help.
They do. And I think they actually are the ones that proposed the final rule as well, meaning being as seeding no longer is set to division winners and then wild cards. The division winners would still get playoff berths, but the seeding goes just by NFL's record. So in that case, that 5 seed Minnesota Vikings last year would have been a 2 seed in the NFC and really shaken things up.
I believe it would have been the 3 seed. I believe the Eagles would have the tiebreaker over them, but still, they would have been the 3 seed.
Home playoff game
against the Rams. So I think they still would have played the Rams. Yeah, they still would have played the Rams because the Packers and Commanders would have played, and then the Lions still would have had the bye. So that would have left the Vikings, Rams, Packers, Commanders, Eagles
would have played the Buccaneers, yes.
So
this is more how the NBA does it, where your record matters a lot more than you winning a division. I mean, there's less divisions in the NBA too, so it's a little bit less mixed up when it comes to that. But what are your thoughts here on wild card teams having the chance to get a home playoff game in this case?
Yeah, like you said, in the NBA, there's 3 divisions per conference of 5 teams, 5 times 6.
Well, I guess if you plot the play-in tournament, there's 10 teams that make the playoffs too.
Yeah, there's 10. But I think this rule makes a ton of sense logistically. I don't think it's going to get passed because I don't think owners are going to want to give up a home game for winning the division. And because the owner get to vote, they lose out on the profits that a home game brings in. From a competition level, skill level, yeah, I mean, the 11-6 Packers, 12-5 Commanders. I mean, heck, the Packers, I think, still would have been on the road against the Commanders at 11-6.
Yeah, they just would have moved to the 5 seed.
The Commanders had to go to Tampa Bay instead of hosting a game. The Vikings had to go instead of hosting a game. Like, it would have changed some things. Ironically, it wouldn't have changed too much in the the AFC outside of just switching where the game was played, the Chargers Texans game. But other than that, like I think this rule makes a ton of sense. It should happen, but I don't believe it will.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that was stopping me from getting behind this before is a lot of people were going too far and saying like, oh, that 7-8 win divisional winner shouldn't make the playoffs. I think making the playoffs, winning your division should still be a thing. But if you end up getting seeded as the 7 seed, that's just how it goes. I think as long as the division still means something, meaning that playoff berth, I'm cool with them reseeding everything otherwise.
No, I 100% agree. I think they should reseed. I think you have to still get something for winning your playoff or for winning your division. It still should be important. But if you end up, not getting a home game because you only won 9 games and 2 teams won 11, but they just didn't win their division because that team won 12, it makes all the sense in the world.
Definitely. Anything else you want to mention? Rule changes, news?
Yeah, I just reminder that these are just proposals. They'll vote on these at the league meetings, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll really debate them for sure if anything changes or any new rules get proposed.
I like it. Cody, why don't we have a little bit of fun for the rest of the show and play a couple of games?
We can do that. I'm going to throw up our normal bumper because I forgot to make one. Oh, this one doesn't have music. That's kind of funny.
Cody, do the music.
George, that's your role.
No, I'm trying to get you to do it. All right, here we are.
And I still didn't have the stuff ready. How about that? Because I got so distracted by no music. Anyways, 3 games. If you've been around, we've played them before. We're going to start with Weddle. If you don't know what this is, it's a game kind of like Wordle, but it's for NFL players. 2 rounds, easy mode, hard mode. Easy mode is offense only. I'm not entirely sure how updated this is with the recent free agency. I would imagine it has been updated by this point to players that have officially signed. But George, I always let you guess first, so go ahead.
Ooh, okay. Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. Like it. All right. So, as you can see here, if you're listening to this, I'll try to explain it. If not, head over to YouTube if you want to watch along. Jordan Love, we get no help except a yellow on the number. So we know his number is lower than 10, but it's also close. So we're probably looking at an 8 or 9 here. We know it's not a quarterback. We know he's not in the NFC because nothing came up there. And we know he's under 6'4" and under 26. So a young player under the number 10 in the AFC. Any name sticking out to you off the jump?
For whatever reason, Keon Coleman came in my head. I believe he wears 0.
All right, so we're going to go
Might
to
be
the
too far, but
I think it would be too far because of it being 10, but let's go ahead. So we know it's the AFC East. We know it's a wide receiver, and he's older than 21. So he's 22, 23, less than 10. So we took a flyer knowing he wouldn't be right to get some more information. That's what happened. AFC East, so we're talking Dolphins, we're talking Bills,
Patriots.
not Bills, and the Jets.
Yeah.
Less than 10. That is throwing me for a loop.
Tyreek Hill wears 10. He's not that young anyway. Jalen Waddle wears 17. So that's a no.
I'm going to throw out there Garrett Wilson since now that he moved his number to 5.
That's not a bad idea.
All
okay,
right,
so it's not the Jets. We know it's not the Jets. And no, it's not the Bills.
So it's Patriots or Dolphins. The number is above 5. So we're probably looking at 8 or 9. He's younger than 23, so it's not going to be, and he's a wide receiver. So it wouldn't be like Jonnu Smith, who is 9 for the Dolphins. Patriots, I'm going to be so bad with their wide receivers because there's not a lot there.
Man, the name that came in my head, and I don't know what number he wears. I feel like it might be 8. Is it Kayshon Boutte?
All right, let's try it. That's fine. Got it.
Oh my.
Yep. Nailed it.
I am glad it was him because that's the only Patriots wide receiver that would ever come in my head.
The only other one I can think of was Jalen Polk, who was their 2nd round pick last year that has not played very well yet, but I didn't know what number he was. All right, so that's easy mode. Now you've got it. Hard mode, defense and specialist are available. Same thing. I'm gonna pick the player to start. I'm going to pick Devontae Adams, and this is also a cheat to see if he's on the Rams or the Jets still. So they have him on the Rams. So free agency does count, but it's not in the NFC. Probably a defensive player or a specialist because it's not a wide receiver. Under 6 foot, so a little bit shorter. So maybe we're thinking cornerback or safety. He's under 32, which doesn't help much, and he's higher than 17. So
Yeah, that's
now
a good time.
AFC, think cornerback, think younger. I'm gonna go back to the Patriots, and again, I can't spell. Go Christian Gonzalez, their cornerback. I think he's taller than 6'1", though. Oh, he is exactly 6'1". But it's AFC, so we know that, and we know it's a DB. So we got that out of there, and it's higher than 22, but he is close to that.
Close.
All right. So again, we're back to the Bill, or no, it's going to be the North, the West, or the South.
Yeah.
And the number is probably like around 10 would be my guess. Maybe
No,
a
it's
9.
above 17.
Oh, sorry. I definitely saw those a down arrow. That's why I went with him because he was 0.
Mhm.
So it's above 17. So we're probably in the 20s, like most
Yeah.
cornerbacks are. But he's also pretty young. So like last 2 years, I mean, like Sauce Gardner, but he is in that division. He's also won. Let's go out west. Talk some cornerbacks. Travarius Ward, he's a little bit older at this point. I would believe maybe he's still only 24.
He
He's
might.
25.
Yeah. I'm okay with you guessing him to see if we can get more information. We have 10 guesses on this one, so.
All right, Travarius Ward. I don't know what his new number is either.
You also didn't want to spell Charvarius, and I can't say I blame you.
And maybe he's not on here because they don't know what his. Okay, we're not going to guess him because I can't think of his name, and I'm not seeing it anywhere. So they might not know his new number yet. That could be a part of the equation.
They could have taken him out of the game. He doesn't exist.
All right, but let's. L'Jarius Sneed would have to be older. Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie
could be. I would give that a shot.
He's going to be soon.
His numbers in the 20s. We nailed the age.
All right, how about Mr. Derek Stingley? He just got a big contract extension.
That's not a bad guess there either.
Same draft class. I'm going to go back to spelling Stingley. Again, I don't understand why we haven't switched roles on this. So we know it's the AFC North. So we're looking at AFC cornerbacks, which would be the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns. So
age 24.
So
I don't know how old Wiggins is on the Ravens, but that's worth a shot.
Yeah, he's smaller. Nate Wiggins. So we got the AFC North. His number's
not
low.
The right number. Okay, my bad.
All right, I'm trying to just figure out the team here. So I know Denzel Ward is a low number, but their other corner, Greg Newsome the second, he's 24. So he'd been the right height, close, but he's also 0. So bad with corner numbers.
Not Cleveland either.
Yeah, it's not Cleveland. So we know it's down to Pittsburgh and the Bengals, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah, Bengals corners, good luck with that. I don't know if anyone on their defense is worth noting at this point.
So I'm going to guess Beanie Bishop Jr., which is not right. So it's Cincinnati.
But it's not Pittsburgh. It's Cincinnati. It's a good time.
I'm going to blank on them at this point. I think Mike Hilton is too old, and I think he's actually a free agent. Maybe not. Let's see.
Give it a shot.
So we know it's Cincinnati. It's lower than, so we're at like the 28, 29 range.
Ooh.
I wonder if Dax Hill is because it's just DB.
Yeah, it could be a safety. That's a good call. No, right age.
right age, almost the right height. Okay. So what do we got left? We got one guess left.
We're so close.
We're so close.
Can we
here.
name any other Cincinnati DBs at this point?
What there?
Is it
What
cheating
is-
if I check my dynasty team?
No,
I have a safety on my dynasty team.
the DBs now throw me off too because I'm trying to think of who their other safeties are. Like I think Von Bell's too old.
Jordan Battle is what I was thinking.
Jordan Battle. Let's try it. We're not going to get it if it's not because it can be like I thought it was
Josh Newton.
Josh Newton. Yep, I never would have got there.
Nope. We
So-
guessed every other DB on that team that anyone would have thought of.
Exactly. All right. So let me stop sharing the screen here. We'll jump over to the Immaculate Grid. George, while I pull this up, you want to explain how this game works?
Immaculate Grid, there is a grid. There will be 3 either statistics or teams along the top and along the side, and we have to find something that is the same on both. So example, the top of this one has Chargers, Raiders, and 10 plus sack seasons. The side has Chiefs and Vikings and Eagles. So example, when you look at Chiefs and Chargers in that block, we have to have somebody who was on both the Chiefs and the Chargers.
Yes, we do. Same with all of them. I seen Eagles down there
Mhm.
and the Chargers. So George, this spot right here. Let me put my mouse here. Oh, the mouse doesn't come across on the screen. The bottom left corner. If you don't get
I know a slam dunk. I just don't know if I want to try to think of someone harder.
so the
Because
slam
the slam dunk
is
is Darren Sproles.
okay. We're on the same page on that.
Yeah.
Darren Sproles is a slam dunk. We know that. All right. We can, I think, for this one, because I just want to see if I can spell it.
Oh, man. So we got Eagles, Raiders. What do you got?
One of your worst free agent signings ever. Nnamdi Asomugha.
Nnamdi Asomugha. That's a good one.
And I'm going to struggle to spell this.
I don't think it's an N. I think it's NA.
What's next?
M N. No.
Nope. Oh, N A. Nope.
No.
There we go.
AS.
N.
ASO. NN. Got it. Okay. I'm good with it.
Okay. 29%. So a lot of people were thinking that.
But not as bad. We've had some 40, 50%. We had it before. I'm sure that's probably what Darren Sproles would be if we end up going with that one.
Yeah, I think and we might still go with Darren Sproles here. Any guy that sticks out to you? Eagles 10 sacks. I know Brandon Graham just retired. Did he ever have 10 sacks?
Yeah, I believe he did have 10 sacks even 2 years ago. Fletcher Cox as well. I'm trying to think back to some of those older guys. I just can't confirm if some of those older guys definitely had 10 sacks. Like I would say like Trent Cole might be a good one, but I don't know for sure he had 10 sacks in a season.
What are you more confident in, Cox or Graham?
I'm confident both of them had 10 sack seasons.
Which one do you think is the lower number?
Being that Graham just retired, people would probably think of him first over Cox.
Okay, we're going Fletcher. 17%.
Nice. I'll take that.
Righty. Well, we could probably knock out these 10 sack people.
Yeah.
The question is, how crazy do you want to go?
I'm the person who's very bad at this game, so I would go safe on a lot of it.
So,
what do you got?
Hall of Famer Jared Allen would fit for both of these.
That's fair. I don't think a lot of people would put him on Chiefs.
Okay.
A lot of people would probably put him on Vikings, at least in my head.
I would agree.
Can you think of a second Viking?
I would imagine Daniil Hunter had 10 at some point.
I don't. See that.
Let me hover over this. If it has to be this. So the 10 sacks have to be achieved with that team. So
Okay,
like,
did Jared Allen get 10 with the Chiefs?
I would imagine he did. But there's also guys like, Tamba Hali that I'm like, I wonder if he had 10 sacks. That could be a deep pool.
Yeah.
As well. So definitely some interesting names there. If we want to pivot to, matching some of these guys up, we obviously have Darren Sproles here that we can take at any moment.
We'll let that sit and just go with someone else if we think of someone random.
Chargers,
Vikings.
Chargers, Vikings, Raiders. Technically, Randy Moss played for the Raiders, did he not?
I believe so.
So Randy Moss could go here.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be a big number, but
yeah, because I don't know of many people that would be Vikings Raiders crossovers.
It's probably more than you think.
It usually is, but it's a lot of guys that are like, this guy played one regular season game. Nice.
Yeah, this was definitely Randy Moss is here. We could you know what? Let's just go Sproles here. Let's not overthink this. We're already 40 minutes into this episode. We got one more game left. Let's just, if we know somebody, let's just take it. Let's try to complete it because I think last time we did this exercise, we didn't complete it. So we got Darren Sproles. That's easy. We're going to go Randy Moss here. Boom. 49%. Darren Sproles was 59%. We took some layups. It's okay. We don't got to shoot half quarters for all of them. I feel like Chiefs Raiders should be easy. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. It's interesting that these are both divisions for the Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. And normally there's more crossover when you look at it that way, but
Chargers, Vikings. I'm trying to think. Did Anthony
speak out loud? Maybe I'll think of something. What was that?
I said, did Anthony Barr go play with the Chargers for a little bit? Or did
Potentially, but I'm not.
Or is Eric Kendricks with the Chargers now? Or is he in Dallas?
I think Eric Kendricks is in Dallas.
I think so too. Trying to think through any of those random tight ends go there. Irv Smith Jr. No.
The Chargers like to get their secondhand tight ends out of LA, meaning the Rams.
Yeah. All right. So do we think Danielle Hunter had 10 sacks with the Vikings? I feel like he did.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
All right. So we're going to go Danielle Hunter here. That's correct. Cool. Even has the Vikings logo. And we're going to go Jared Allen here. If he didn't have 10 sacks and that was all with the Vikings, that's on me. 7%.
He did. And 7%. See, a lot of people would put him with the Vikings. So that was a good call.
Now, three guesses left. What was that guy's name? I feel like he played for the Raiders as well. Any backup quarterbacks come through there? Chad Henne, Carson Wentz,
no.
Blaine Gabbert, Alex Smith.
No, not Alex Smith.
It's crazy that I'm blanking.
Jimmy Garoppolo was there, but that was just 49ers, not Chargers, not Chiefs.
Crazy. This is a tough one. These always are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like running backs too, trying to think through some running backs that might have played with the Chargers, and like not Alexander Mattison, not Cam Akers, not any other.
No, we actually could have put Alexander Mattison instead of Randy Moss. Now that you say that,
I should have known. You would have known all about Alexander Mattison. But yeah, then you have the Chargers and the Chiefs. Chargers, Vikings. We have Chiefs, Raiders. Trying to figure out who would go there. I always think there's like that one returner, but maybe not. Deuce McAllister, was that his name? He wore 22. Did he play for the Raiders? I don't know. I'm gonna give us like 2 minutes.
Why do I feel like McAllister played for the Chargers, not the Raiders? I could be
Great.
definitely wrong there. Cool.
I feel like this is like the easy one too. So
yeah, it probably is.
Like it's probably just like Chad Henne, in all honesty. Like Henne probably.
Chad Henne did play quite a few places.
So we could try him if we wanted. Chargers, any of the safety, like I know they move secondary pieces around a decent amount. Like heck, that would be Chargers. Raiders, that doesn't help me at all. I'm drawing blanks, dude.
Yeah, me too. Try Chad Henne in that top corner.
Chad Henne. Nope. We're going to give up here. We scored 485. Not the best game. Chase Daniel, the wrong quarterback.
Oh, man.
And it was Eric Kendricks. And then Hall of Famer Marcus Allen. So, we kind of just dropped the ball there.
Dropped the ball on that one.
I should have guessed Eric Kendricks for this one. He did go to... But
I was right about people putting Jared Allen in that
the Vikings spot.
Reggie White was the top Eagles sacks guy.
Dang. I knew it was a quarterback. I just got him confused. But alrighty. That wraps up the match.
Those are, I think, my weakest game. I just blank when I look at those logos. I'm like, All
right. So then I need you to step it up here.
No promises.
And if you do well, we might do a fourth game, but probably not. But that's a tease. If you do well.
Okay.
It's a quiz. Good old-fashioned quiz. On one of our favorite sites, Sporkle, # not a sponsor. If you want to play this quiz for yourself, it'll be there. We're going to do not Super Bowl MVPs. Regular MVPs dating back a long while. It tells us the team. I know it's hard to see. Let me try to zoom in for you fine folks on the YouTube channel so you can at least see. Close out this ad nobody wants. All right. So 1957 to 2024. I might have to go a little bit smaller so I can see my type box. Are you ready?
I'm ready. We go backwards.
Yep. So we're
2024 Josh Allen, then Lamar Jackson. He fills a couple. We got Patrick Mahomes in there. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, duh.
Rodgers. They filled up a couple. We got Tom Brady's gonna fill up a couple.
Falcons, Matt Ryan,
Cam Newton.
Denver Broncos. He did. Minnesota Vikings, that's Peterson. They will not take AP. Chargers in 2006.
LaDainian Tomlinson? Oh, Lawrence Taylor.
No, LT LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm a millennial. I consider LT LaDainian. I know the NFL world does not. Tomlin. Again, why am I the typer? Seattle Seahawks 2005.
Sean Alexander?
I think so. Is 28 touchdowns.
Somebody who actually made our best fantasy player ever bracket. Another shout out to that one.
All right. Raiders 2002. Rich Gannon.
Yep. Kurt Warner.
Falk. And then Warner. It's crazy that the Rams had 3 straight and twice. All right. Broncos 1998. That's probably Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Packers, Lions. I'll give a shout out to Sanders on that one, even though it was tied with Brett Favre. Packers also I probably should
put Favre because it would have given you 2 extra others then.
Yep. 49ers. What's that? Young.
I think it's
Dallas
Young.
Cowboys. That's probably the Smith year. I got to stop putting
Emith. Bills 1991. Oh, heck was the name of their quarterback when they lost 4 straight?
Well, I guess OJ Simpson.
Got OJ a lot earlier, yeah. Totally wrong decade. It's fine.
Kelly. Not Kelly.
No.
Not Andre Reed. Shout out Kutztown. All right, I'm gonna come back to that one. Montana for the next one.
Next 2, I think. Yep.
Bengals.
88. This is where we start to get like, ooh.
What is the Collinsworth?
Collinsworth.
Is it Worth or Worth?
Oh, RTH? ERTH?
Maybe it's not
No.
Collinsworth. Elway is the Broncos. The Giants one. That's probably Sims. Maybe that's Taylor.
So, yeah. We also got a Jim Taylor in there in the 60s. Shout out for that. We got Marcus Allen for putting in someone else earlier, too.
I just put in Jim Brown to get the 57-58 one.
Also got a Larry Brown in there in the 70s. Dolphins 84 is why am I blanking? Marino, thank you.
Yep, I got you. Marcus, are you listening? What is the formerly known as the Redskins one? Moon for the Oilers down here. Now that I'm jumping around, it's not him. That's interesting.
No, that's too old. I'm pretty sure. And I think Cunningham was the 90s, so it's not him. He was never on the Bills. I saw you start typing that. I knew exactly what you meant.
Yes. Get Johnny Unitas in there.
Nice.
Bart Starr. Oh, come on. Trying to get this 1961 Packers one, and I'm failing miserably.
Don't worry. I'm blanking on the 1960 Eagles one as well.
Or is it Hudson? We'll look up his name.
All right. So we got all the way through from 92 on. We're missing 91 with the Bills, 88 with the Bengals, and then the rest of the middle row would be 80 with the Browns, 81 with the Bengals, and then 2 Redskins in the 80s as well.
Yeah, our age is showing here.
Yes.
Our lack of history is showing. Let's just so the Steelers 78 one. I don't think that's definitely
Bradshaw. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to start there. Then I was just going to go like Franco Harris, Joe Green, like Bears.
Bears 77.
I feel like it's Peyton.
Is it defensive? Oh, okay, it's Walter Payton. There you go.
Yeah. Baltimore Colts. Not named. Johnny Unitas. I have no idea after that point. Cleveland.
It's not Unitas. You type that.
Yeah, Unitas. I got.
Unitas is older. Got it. My bad.
He also got the one in 67. So again, Colts back to back. Got one in 67, one in 68, but didn't get it. Let's try Al. Oh, we already got the Allens. Who is the guy? That Dickerson. Did he win it the year he had the?
Nope. No, that would have been newer as well. We already got through those.
I know. I was just trying to think of like players that had elite seasons. Like, did Jerry Rice ever win it? No.
Again, that would have been newer as well. If anyone is in the comments just screaming inside their head like it's this person, tell us how dumb we are and give us a hint.
Yeah, we have 3 minutes left on the quiz because the quiz is time. So we have 3 minutes to figure it out or talk through some of these. Come on. Any other like?
Can you type in Bergey for the 60 Eagles?
Bro, I'm gonna need you.
Burgey. Burgey.
Nope.
That might not be spelled right. I'll double check it.
All right, then.
Bergey. My bad.
Bergey. GY.
Nope. Okay, that's worth a shot.
Let me just make sure I get all the, common last name. Do the Jacksons, the Smiths, Montgomery. Kind of cheat the system a little bit. I feel like there's some big names that we are missing.
100%. Those Redskins 82-83, Theismann, that was one of them, not both. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay.
Less than 2 minutes left.
Missing 1960 with the Eagles, 61 with the Packers, 63 with the Giants.
I just would like to point out that, and this is for our age group, we nailed everybody.
Yes. Since actually a few years before we were born and on. So
for you,
I'll take that. That 91 Bills is bothering me too. I feel like we should know that one.
Yeah, like I feel like it is someone that once we see it, we're gonna.
Did you type Kelly with an E and without an E at the end?
Yeah.
And then just Y?
Yeah, make sure.
Yeah. Okay. I swore it was him, but it's spelled without an E, but not him.
What is the one running back name for the Redskins? What was his name that I'm thinking of? I don't know. Cleveland Browns, 1980. That's crazy.
Well, they were still good back then. That was, I mean, that team was still what is now the Ravens. So.
Yes, this is true. 20 seconds. Any last guesses?
Man, I threw everything I had on the table. I'll be mad when I see who 60 with the Eagles is and 91 with the Bills.
61 with the Packers. Maybe I just spelled it wrong. I'm pretty sure that's who it is, but probably spelled it wrong. Told you. Horn Young.
Oh.
Thurman Thomas was the running back for him. Boomer Esiason for the Bengals. I got him mixed up with Chris Collinsworth. That's what I meant to.
Got it.
Earl Campbell, Tarkington, could have got him. Stabler, if I would have thought about it, maybe.
I did not know Roman Gabriel ever won an MVP.
Ken Anderson.
Y.A. Tittle. Yeah. Those are the ones we missed. We didn't do too bad. 52 out of 68, I feel like, is better than we usually do. And the average score being 59%, we got 76. I'll take it.
100%. But, alrighty. That is game night. About an hour in. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you're listening to this and you're like, man, I really wish I could see what they're doing, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. But, George, any last things you want to hit before we get out of here?
No, keep an eye on our social media channels. We're looking forward to doing some March Madness over the next few weeks and debating with you guys on who has been the better fantasy player. And I'm looking forward to talking draft with you starting next week.
Oh, that puts a lot of pressure on me, but we'll be in April. It'll be time to talk draft. Doesn't matter. We're going to be talking draft. Make sure you're following us on social media, all those good places. For the bracket, if you want to follow along to these games, all that good stuff. As always, thanks for listening to the Couch GMs podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, all those good places you follow podcasts. I'm Cody Roadcap. That's George Kirk. And we'll talk to you all next week.